Hello everyone, after I published a detailed video about the Canon T70 some time ago, here is the little sister or the little brother or whatever, Canon T50. I would like to present the camera in detail and also show you two accessories, the remote shutter release and a Canon flash unit. Have fun watching and please leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. This way you support my work for you. Thanks for that. The Canon T50 was launched on the market in March 1983. It was the first Canon camera in the new T series. In the early 1980s, the SLR still dominated. There were different metering systems, many exposure programs and various other functions were integrated into cameras, and camera manufacturers competed fiercely to offer the better camera. The confusion may have turned off users as more people began to avoid SLRs. In 1981, 35mm SLR production peaked at 7.67 million units. 2 years later, this amount shrank by more than 30% to 5.37 million units. Instead, more and more easy-to-use compact cameras were bought. These usually only had to be triggered, the rest was taken care of by the camera electronics. Amid such market conditions, the Canon T50 was introduced as a wave of the future 35mm SLR camera. It was the first T-series camera. The camera was designed to respond to the user automatically. It was easy to use and anybody could take pictures with it. It had a power winder, which was well received on the Autoboy and TTL program AE. In 1983, the T50 won the Good Design Award from the Ministry of International Trade and Industry. There is the limited model as T5 in only USA. Like any T, A or F system camera, the T50 uses Canon FD or NFD lenses. Here I show you how to attach FD and NFD lenses. Both are easy to do. Make sure that the red dot on the lens matches the red dot on the camera. With FD lenses, you have to turn the bayonet ring of the lens counterclockwise to attach it, whereas with NFD lenses you have to turn the whole lens. To remove a lens, turn the bayonet of FD lenses clockwise. With NFD lenses, press the release button on the camera and turn the entire lens accordingly. You can see the difference here in the picture. The Canon T50 is a fully electronic camera. Therefore, operation without batteries is not possible. However, it only requires two AA batteries or rechargeable batteries. Nickel-cadmium batteries are not recommended. A small bottom flap is opened for this purpose. Note the correct polarity of the batteries, as indicated on the inside of the flap. Then close the compartment again. A common problem with the Canon T50, as with the Canon T70, is that a small pin on the battery lock breaks and the compartment can no longer be closed. If this happens to you, tape the compartment closed with adhesive tape. If the battery cover is completely missing, use some conductive metal so that the batteries have contact with each other and also fix it with adhesive tape. You can easily check the battery voltage. To do this, turn the selector switch to the BC position and hold it there. If you hear beeps, you can start taking pictures. If the beep does not sound, the battery is low and should be replaced. With two fresh batteries you can take at least 50 films of 36 shots each, at low temperatures below 0 degrees Celsius only about 7 films. Therefore, keep your camera warm at these temperatures, for example under your jacket. The camera uses 35mm film. You can buy these with 24 or 36 exposures. You can see some information on the film packaging. The manufacturer's name, in this case Agfa. The film designation, in this case Optima 2 Prestige 400. The film speed, in this case ISO or ASA 400. 135/36 indicates that this is a 35mm film with 36 exposures. Further information can be found on the reverse. For example, that the film is matched to the color temperature of daylight or flashlight, in which film development process it is to be processed, and its expiration date is also noted, to name just the most important information. I will now show you how to load a film into the camera. I will use my tried and tested Kodak Gold 100 test film, which has already seen the inside of countless cameras. Pull up the rewind knob until the back cover pops open. The T50 uses color or black and white film, negative or slide, in standard 35mm cartridges. Place the cartridge in the film chamber as shown. Then push the rewind knob down, turning it until it drops into its normal position. Pull the film leader across the camera so that its tip is aligned with the orange index in the lower right-hand side of the film chamber. If the film leader extends past the orange line, manually wind the excess film back into the film cartridge. Make sure the film perforations are engaged with the sprocket teeth, then close the back cover. The camera does not have a so-called DX scanner, which tells the camera the correct length of the film and the film speed. To obtain well-exposed images, the film speed must be set manually. You can see how to do this here. Before taking the first picture, check that the aperture ring on the lens is in the A position. This is the only way the camera can automatically select the shutter speed and aperture for a correctly exposed shot. Now all you have to do is turn the distance setting until you see your subject in focus in the viewfinder, and then you can take the first shot. You don't have to worry about transporting the film, a built-in motor does it for you. If you keep the shutter release button pressed, the camera continuously takes 0.7 pictures per second. You also turn the setting wheel from the locked L position to program. Make sure that the film rewind button rotates after the shutter has been released. This is an indicator of correct film transport. You can see the number of photos taken in the frame counter. After 24 or 36 shots, you will reach the end of the film. The camera will signal the end of the film with a beep, but the motor will try to continue transporting the film if you continue to press the shutter button. To prevent the film from tearing from the cartridge, it is best to switch the camera off. To rewind, you must first press the rewind button. As soon as you have pressed this, you can remove your finger. Then turn the rewind crank in the direction of the arrow until you no longer feel any resistance. When the rewind crank feels loose, open the back cover. The frame counter will automatically return to S. Remove the film cartridge as illustrated and place it back in its canister. It should be developed as soon as possible. There is an extremely rare possibility that, after rewinding your film, the mirror inside the camera body may not flip back to its normal position. If this happens, simply press the rewind button. The mirror will then return to its normal position. Before I introduce you to a flash unit and the remote shutter release for this camera, I would like to give you some more information on how to operate the camera. Of course, the camera also has a self-timer. You can use this for pictures where you want to take the photo with the shutter off, but also for shots with a slow shutter speed so that the picture is not blurred by your movement. Shutter speed is the amount of time the shutter remains open for exposure. Aperture in photo terminology refers to the size of the lens opening. Shutter speed and aperture are the variables forming the basis of exposure. Since the T50 is programmed to select and set the best aperture and shutter speed combination for you automatically, you will not have to worry about making any manual settings. Gently press the shutter button halfway to check for correct exposure. If a solid green P appears in the right side of the viewfinder, exposure will be correct. A slowly blinking P, about 2 times per second, is a camera shake warning. This means the shutter speed is 1/30th of a second or slower, so it is best to use flash. If flash is not available, bring more light into the picture, or mount your camera on a tripod. A rapidly blinking P, about 8 times per second, means shooting is not possible without the use of flash. With the 60T3 remote shutter release, which is also used with the Canon T70, T90, and the first EOS models, the camera can be triggered without vibration. This is important for long exposures from a tripod, as it prevents vibrations and therefore blurred images. Canon also describes other areas of application, which you can see here. The Canon T299 is an extremely universal flash unit that you can use not only on the Canon T50, but also on all other Canon T models. It offers a number of useful functions, such as adjusting the lighting angle to different focal lengths, and for the T70 and T90, the option of pre-selecting a specific aperture. However, this does not work with the Canon T50, as you cannot manually pre-select an aperture. For the Canon T50, please also use the program setting for the flash unit. But if you should buy a T70 or T90 at some point, you will have a great flash unit for your entire T model. And with this recommendation of a flash unit, I would like to end my introduction video about the Canon T50. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks a lot. Until next video, stay healthy.